Madden holiday is here and we will play all night. Calling sick and sound sincere, in tackles will delight. The fridge is packed with drink and meat, the taste of victory sure is sweet.
Not really too much to say here. I managed to go undefeated this weekend. I managed to avoid picking any of the games that turned out to be major upsets, like Clemson and Louisville, or South Carolina and Texas A&M, or to an extent Minnesota and Illinois. Georgia and Florida was a lot closer than I think a lot of people expected, but the Bulldogs pulled away in the fourth quarter. Not to mention those two are hated rivals, and you always kind of play up to them. So again, the other games I picked were all blowouts, so not too much to say on the college end there. So when I took my notes for, pretty much all of these games, and I got to the NFL section, the Tampa Bay Kansas City game had yet to be played, so I don't really have much to say on it. I wouldn't have much to say on it anyway. I didn't really watch the game. I know it went to overtime. Kansas City won on the first drive, so again, now we got a bunch of belly aching about the stupid overtime rules. How about this? Play defense. Wild idea, I know. Other than that, again, Chargers-Browns is a blowout. The Eagles really seem to do their darndest to blow it against the Jaguars, but, they managed to win. And like I said, Monday Night Football went to overtime, so, not too much to say there. Also, apparently Patrick Mahomes got hurt, but then he finished the game, so that's why I'm not talking too much about that. Also, the NFL trade deadline came up, and, there's been some pretty noteworthy maneuvers. I guess the big one is that the Lions traded for Zadarius Smith. He got him from the Browns. This is going to help alleviate their injured pass rushing lineup right there. I didn't really script these, so that's why you're getting a lot of uhs and ers throughout all of this. Other than that, the noteworthy trades include Marshawn Lattimore getting traded from the Saints to the Washington Commanders. The Ravens just traded for Tre'Davious White from the Rams. The Steelers picked up a couple players. They got wide receiver Mike Williams from the Jets and edge rusher Preston Smith from the Packers. I guess the Steelers needed edge rushing help. But other than that, there's not too much else to say there. Other than that, I guess the major news is that the Saints fired coach Dennis Allen, which, I guess really wouldn't be too much of a shock. My goodness. It's almost completely unfathomable that a team would start off the way they did, going 2-0 and complete blowout victories, only to now be contending to get the number one pick in the draft. It's just kind of crazy, but when stuff like that happens, you got to probably fire the coach at that point. As for the desirability of the job, I'm not entirely sure. They're going to have some cap problems coming up here. So they're going to be under a major overhaul, which means you're probably going to have to endure 2 or 3 years of losing before they get anywhere near back to what they used to be, if at all. And, obviously, I think the next coach to probably look to maybe be fired mid-season is Doug Peterson of the Jaguars. Again, they're just not playing well. I think you have to look at the coach in this scenario and think that that's got to go. So it's probably a matter of when, not if. Other than that, I guess the next coach on the hot seat is Antonio Pierce of the Las Vegas Raiders, who just basically cleared out all of his offensive staff. I don't know about the defense. At least most of the names I saw were offensive guys. So again, probably doing his best to try to save his job at this point. But that, again, a team that looked so good towards the end of last year just can't get anything right. And it's like, maybe this is why you don't always hire the interim coach when they succeed right away. So I guess that takes care of that. On the plus side, the Vikings managed to win, meaning we don't have to live under the power of Deathmate. For now. Anyway, this week's games are Rice versus Memphis, Miami of Florida versus Georgia Tech, and Florida State versus Notre Dame. Then on the NFL side, we have Buffalo taking on Indianapolis, Philadelphia taking on Dallas, and Detroit taking on Houston on Sunday night. Okay, let's get to previewing these things.
It's better.
Not bitter.
Surprise.
Sweet.
Potion spray. Baby red and tangerine grapefruit juice drink.
Tangerine?
Surprise.
Very, very sweet.
It's not any ordinary grapefruit juice.
Ruby red and tangerine. Crave the wave. It's the same, and it's different.
It's Hugs. Hershey's Hugs. Mini Hershey's Kisses hugged by white chocolate. Hugs. Get it? P.S. Hugs also come with almonds.
When you pick up a copy of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Nightmare Tales, you're picking up a passport to paranoia and taking 2 terrifying trips into the world of dreams. First, guest star Bobcat Goldthwait shows a young girl the dark side of bedtime stories.
Welcome to your fairy tale!
And then, a boy discovers a typewriter that turns words into nightmares.
I wrote it, and you guys dreamt it.
Pick up a copy of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Nightmare Tales, and take possession of some unforgettable tales before they take possession of you.
Sweet dreams.
Our first matchup is the Rice Owls taking on the Memphis Tigers. And Memphis, very early on in the season, looked like a dark horse to make the college football playoff, as that program has spent the last 20 years building themselves into a very solid, sturdy, dependable program. Unfortunately, their season was kind of done in with losses to both Navy and Texas San Antonio. Not to mention their win over Florida State the second week of the season is looking less impressive as time goes on. Not to mention, as high-powered as the Tigers' offense is, led by quarterback Seth Hennigan, is, like I said, very high-powered. They got a decent running attack. Everything seems to be going well there. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have much faith in their defense. They managed to squeak by Charlotte. The 2 games they lost pretty handily, and it seems that their defense just isn't very trustworthy right now. Obviously, the most noteworthy aspect of the Rice football program is that they're quarterbacked by E.J. Warner, son of Hall of Famer Kurt Warner. Other than that, it's been kind of a down year for the Owls. They're 3-6 and basically need to win out in order to be bowl eligible. That being said, they have managed to hang in there with AAC powers like Tulane. They did manage to get victories over both Texas San Antonio and Navy, so they've got that up on Memphis. Unfortunately, they also suffered a very costly loss to UConn. That's probably kind of downed everything. Like I said, the Tigers may be down, and they're not entirely out, but they could still win the AAC championship. They're probably still the favorites to make that game. They're probably going to win this one rather handily. So yeah, I'm picking Memphis over Rice here.
This Halloween, Blockbuster Video has a special treat for your whole family. You can take home any of these great Halloween classics for just $7.99. Or rent 2 movies and get them for $3.99. Now, if that's not a reason to scream, what is? Make it a blockbuster fright.
Mike. Mike.
What?
There's something under the bed. I heard something.
There's nothing under the bed.
I heard something.
See, look. It's just Fluffy. He got scared by a dumb cat.
I wasn't scared.
I told you there was nothing under the bed.
Hey, little M&M's. Wow, great costumes. What are you guys, like 4 or 5?
46.
All right, yeah, okay. Here you go.
You don't understand, Slick. We're here for the party.
Yeah, that's cute.
Put your hand down.
A haunted house. Wow, hello, Max. Scary how I love those sweet little puffs of wheat. A mirror? I'll shine some light on this mystery. There they are. Hey, what the... Oh, my. And I want us Max to be... You. Yeah! You'd be a scaredy cat. Hello, Smacks. I dig 'em.
Our next game sees the Miami Hurricanes taking on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And yeah, this has pretty much been a locked up... I'll try this again. Yeah, the Hurricanes have definitely locked up the ACC college football playoff spot, or at least a college football playoff spot. In fact, I'm willing to bet they make the college football playoff even if they do somehow lose the ACC championship game. Added to that, Cam Ward, the quarterback, is definitely the Heisman favorite at this point. If there really is a flaw in the Hurricanes, it's that their defense is kind of lacking. I mean, they've had a lot of shootout victories. They had to have a really big comeback against Cal. Granted, that was a game that was played on the West Coast. That was played at the equivalent of like 10 o'clock on the East Coast. So, yeah, maybe there was a little bit of travel factor played in there. But, yeah, it's definitely a weak spot for them in the defensive side of things. And, of course, Miami definitely does not want a repeat of last year's game against Georgia Tech, where, of course, they famously blew it on the last second. I have talked about that already before in my Week 0 preview, so I'm sure everyone here remembers that. The Yellow Jackets come in having lost back-to-back games against Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. Their defense really isn't playing well. They're giving up a lot of points. And really, I think the Yellow Jackets' best chance is, again, run the ball very heavily, try to play ball control, keep the ball away from the Miami offense as much as you can, but yeah, I just don't see that happening. The Canes are probably going to win this one in a blowout.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
What would you do, ma'am?
Oh, I'm waiting for my husband. I can stand here.
Okay, stand there.
Just stand here for a Klondike?
Uh-huh.
I don't have to act like a monkey.
Rich chocolate ice cream?
Or hop like a frog ribbit.
Smothered in milk chocolate.
Well, all right. For that chocolate-coated ice cream, loaded big and thick, no room for a stick. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Hi, hon. Oh, can I have one?
Oh, yeah, just stand right here.
My kids love the country as much as I did when I was a boy. My grandpa's farm is just like this. And my grandma always made orange juice that tasted just like this. It's new Minute Maid country-style orange juice. And it has those juicy pieces of orange in it, like grandma's had. And like regular Minute Maid, it's always 100% pure and real country kids.
New Minute Maid country-style orange juice. We know how to get the best out of an orange.
Sunday on Alice, why is guest star Florence Henderson putting the make on Mel?
That woman is hot for me.
Then on One Day at a Time, can Max sell Julie's bedtime story?
Give me a word. Giraffe. Tell me where to put it.
And Louise Jefferson loses an award, but is she a good sport?
Look on the bright side. Get out of my house.
Then on Good Night Beantown, has Matt and Jenny's neighbor put her husband on ice?
You're not going to tattle on me, are you?
And on Trapper John,
get the patients into isolation.
A mysterious illness strikes the hospital. All
Our final college matchup is the Florida State Seminoles taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in a game that, probably looked like a lot better going into the season than it just turned out to be. Yeah, NBC's probably kicking themselves over this one. Hell, back when I was selecting these games, it still probably looked like at least a good idea, but now not so much, as Florida State only has one victory on this entire season. I mean, this is a team that was undefeated, got cheated out of a college football playoff spot, and now they only have one win this year. And the Seminoles really don't have much of an offense to say. I mean, they really, really don't. And that was even before DJ Uyunglele was out for the season with a shoulder injury. So Brock Glenn is now in. Again, not too much to say than that. The defense stinks. Mike Norvell is definitely on the hot seat. They're just really, really bad. Like I said, the last time we covered Notre Dame, they're basically playing for their college football playoff lives. I mean, if they get 2 losses, they're out. So, they basically have to win out from here. And, again, it does look like the schedule is following their way a little bit. The best team they play down the stretch is Army. Unfortunately, their game against USC is also kind of looking not great. But they basically have to win out. Their offense is doing fine. They're playing really well. I think the defense falls a little bit into susceptibility here. Again, they haven't faced too many high-powered offenses. The one couple times they can maybe put something up. But again, I think it's definitely going to fall a lot on the defense and how well Notre Dame runs the ball. Still, the Irish are probably going to win this game rather handily. I'm picking the Irish to win this one in a blowout.
Boy, could I go for a nice cold light beer from Miller. So I thought I'd just pop in at my favorite hangout and have one with the guys. Well, the whole gang drinks light. Oh, sure, there's a lot of other light beers around, but we all agree that light beer from Miller tastes terrific. And get this, it's less filling.
John, how many times have I told you, use the door, huh?
I forgot, I'm sorry.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Like I was saying, light beer tastes great. And another thing.
Well, Sergeant! What the heck you doing in here? You see this? It's called a carrot. Now get out there and ungrade them!
$2 an hour, he said, Toronto's king.
Dracula from Sony ImageSoft. Sure, it's just a game.
This mission is not for adults. Because Wendy's kids' meals are just for kids.
Look out! Nugget shower! The big frosty dipper! Tater alert! Fire! Alien! No! Adult! Warp speed! Quick! Refuel!
Back to Wendy's kids' meal and see what's inside.
It's an offer from Wendy's that would excite anyone. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island Toys. You can discover the answer to the age-old question, where is Scooby-Doo? With a little patience, you can unravel this mystery at Wendy's. Now one Scooby toy in every Wendy's kids' meal purchased. You can collect all 5.
Moving on to the NFL, we start things off with the Buffalo Bills taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Bills are a very hard team to really wrap my head around. They can look really dominant one week and then really struggle the next. Granted, their last game against the Dolphins saw the return of Tua Tagovailoa, and I think that helped Miami play a little bit better. But yeah, it's still kind of strange that the Bills struggled the way they did, particularly at home. That being said, the Bills are probably going to wind up clinching the AFC East before December, so I don't think they have too much to worry about here. Moving on to the Colts, they have once again put Joe Flacco in at the starting quarterback. He definitely represents their best opportunity to win. I think, obviously, he played pretty well during the start against the Vikings. I think overall the defensive adjustments by that team changed things as the second half wore on. Like I said, Flacco is really the best option that they have to win in what is surprisingly a winnable division for them, which we'll get into a little bit later. This is mainly due to the Colts defense. I think that's playing exceedingly well. They can keep them in this. However, at the end, I think the Bills are just too talented. They're probably going to pull away and win this one. So, yeah, Buffalo may be close, but overall, they're going to pull away in the second half and win it.
Let's get off the field right now! Yeah! Sooner or later, you're going to have to play football, big boy. Just snap the ball. Is this what you want? This belongs to the defense. Let's go!
10 yards has never seemed so far. Now you will fear the D. Madden NFL 2005, rated E for everyone. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Come Creepy Head and Friends playset.
Awesome! To do that, squish in the Play-Doh, pick a mask, twist it on, and... Ooh, now I'm a werewolf. 3D!
The Play-Doh Count Creepy Head and Friends playset comes with 4 masks and everything you see here. New from Kenner.
It's a night of spooky surprises.
Oh, Halloween.
For America's favorite fat cat, don't bat your eyes. Garfield's Halloween adventure will have you shaking in your boots Monday.
On Dallas.
Somebody's trying to buy you anymore.
Finally, JR's about to be double-crossed by the last person he'd ever suspect.
This could be the way out of it all.
Are you crazy?
Then, on Falcon Crest, how far will Angela go?
Rumor had it that you and Richard were having an affair.
In her quest to destroy Chase. All next.
Our next matchup is the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys, or should I say what remains of the Dallas Cowboys. So yeah, Micah Parsons, Marcus Lawrence, and Dak Prescott are out. CeeDee Lamb sprained his shoulder. It seems that he's in. for now, but, even when healthy, the Cowboys weren't exactly playing great football. They were playing very average at best. Still, that sort of gives this game a weird kind of feeling, like maybe they could actually surprisingly win this one, and then all the pundits who were foretelling the demise of the Cowboys are saying, oh, now they're back. There was a game against the Vikings they had a couple of years ago where, it was the Cooper Rush game, and they came in and dominated. So I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, but you never know in these scenarios. Lending someone credence to my previous theory there is the fact the Eagles appear to have fallen back to earth. Again. I mean, they almost completely blew that lead against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The only offensive player contributing on a regular basis is Saquon Barkley. They're making way too many mistakes. Again, I don't think this is a very well-coached team. They are really struggling in some aspects of this. This is giving the exact same feeling they had towards the second half of last year where they completely collapsed. I mean, could this be happening again? That being said, in the end, I do think the Eagles are the better team here. Like I said, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if Dallas won, but I think I just kind of have to go with the Eagles here. I have a bit more faith in them than I do the Cowboys. I mean, again, I wouldn't be completely surprised if the Cowboys won in this, but yeah, I'm picking the Eagles in a close one here.
Oh, sorry.
I guess I'm old-fashioned. I think people should be able to eat good food without spending much money.
Excuse me.
So Wendy's is introducing a new super value menu. Oops. Everything on it is at a special low price. Biggie drinks, biggie fries, chili, including our new junior bacon cheeseburger. Delicious food that leaves change in your pocket.
Oh.
What do you have to know to get a seat around here?
Come try the super value menu at Wendy's.
Super sheer isotoner pantyhose tone your legs to keep you going non-stop.
Makes my legs go on forever.
Look for this Fisher circular in this weekend's newspaper. Choose a Fisher audio system, a color TV, or one of these 3 great Fisher VCRs. Choose this Fisher wireless remote VCR with random access, $2.99, or save $20 on this Fisher VCR with wireless remote, only $2.79. Experience on-screen programming with this Fisher VCR, only $3.29. Now that's Tom Peterson's The Happy Place to Buy. It's worth the trip.
Our final matchup has the Detroit Lions taking on the Houston Texans on Sunday Night Football. Or to be more precise, the Lions will be taking out what remains of the Houston Texans. They're getting really banged up too. Defensive end Willie Anderson, their star Rookie of the Year player last year, he's injured. Obviously their wide receiver core has been completely decimated. Stephon Diggs is out for the year. Nico Collins is expected back, but again, don't know how much he's really going to be able to contribute. So it's really going to fall on Joe Mixon to try to carry this offense. The offensive line is struggling in pass protection. They run the ball well, and that's probably their main key. Yeah, C.J. Stroud is definitely having to run the ball around a little too much, extend plays, hurl up prayers at times. And I think that's why they are struggling at this point. Again, they lost that game to the Jets. That's definitely had them fall back to earth a little bit. They still have something of an advantage on the Colts. They do have the tiebreaker advantage after sweeping them. But yeah, this has made the AFC South a little bit more in play, at least for Indianapolis' sake. The Detroit Lions, on the other hand, are coming off a total domination of Green Bay, where they just completely ran the ball well. Their defense really hasn't skipped too much of a beat despite Hutchinson's injury and Deion Branch getting ejected very early on in that game against the Packers. Like I said, they just traded for Zadarius Smith, which is going to help solidify their defensive line. The Lions are just playing all-out football right now. They're a better team than the Texans are right now. So, yeah, I think the Texans can win this game, but the Lions are probably more likely. The Lions are going to win this one in a close one. Okay, we'll be back to wrap things up now.
If you want to see Europe, take a vacation in Virginia. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. It's all the fun and splendor of old Europe, but a lot closer.
and with a few unexpected twists. So add the excitement of Europe to your Virginia vacation at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Call 1-800-446-9244 for more information.
Okay, Dads. Wheel on? Listen, unless you want another Paisley tie this year, let your family know about Hallmark. They've got great Father's Day gifts. There's stuff that'll make yard work easy to swallow. Or tickle your funny bone. Even make you a little cooler. So the next time your family mentions Father's Day, drop them a little hint. Hallmark!
Hallmark has a way.
Hurry, they're discussing Argyle socks right now.
Recently, Four Wheel and Off-Road magazine tested the latest imports and domestics to determine this year's 4x4 of the year. The winner was then tested against past 4x4 of the year winners to determine the best of the best. They compared power, performance, and handling. And when it was over, Jeep Cherokee stood on familiar ground.
Get $1,000 cash back on Jeep Cherokee during the National Jeep Sale.
Okay, so to wrap things up, I like Memphis over Rice, Miami over Georgia Tech, and Notre Dame over Florida State. Then on the NFL side, I like Buffalo over Indianapolis, Philadelphia over Dallas, and Detroit over Houston. Okay, so this, I don't know, this is definitely going up on Wednesday, but I don't know exactly when on Wednesday. It might be late afternoon, early evening. So if this is later than usual, sorry, but due to the election, I'm probably going to have to work a little bit longer at my job, which means I'm going to have to get to sleep a lot later than usual, which means I will be sleeping basically in. I might be sleeping until the afternoon. I don't know. Like I said, depending on how everything shakes out. Yes, I have voted. Hopefully you all have too. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but if you did it early or in person on election day or by mail, hopefully you did it. I did mine early. I did it on October 25th, which was basically the second day here in Bismarck we had early voting. Anyway, the next two videos are going to be predictions videos. So next week's games are Wyoming versus Colorado State, Arizona State versus Kansas State, and Alabama Birmingham versus Memphis. Then on the NFL side, we have Baltimore versus Pittsburgh, Seattle versus San Francisco, and Indianapolis versus the New York Jets. Yes, we are covering the game that was supposed to be the Sunday night game, but then got flexed out. After that, the predictions for Week 13 will be covering UNLV versus San Jose State, Ohio State versus Indiana, and Stanford versus California Berkeley. Then on the NFL side, we'll have Minnesota versus Chicago, Washington versus Dallas, and Philadelphia versus the Los Angeles Rams. And don't worry, that is basically our last Eagles game for the season. It's our second to last Cowboys game for the season, I believe. We're covering the Thanksgiving Day games, obviously. But other than that, yeah, we're pretty good there. So the Eagles and Cowboys will not be on the schedule, at least unless they make the postseason. And then that being said, we are covering Seattle a lot for some reason towards the end of this. Like I said, I had to plan a lot of these out in advance, so just to make sure I had time to get everything done and select teams and get the thumbnails and everything set up. So that's kind of why this is the way it is right now. Okay, so yeah, somewhere around that time too, we're going to have the random trade review on Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. And of course, we're closing out November by covering TNA Turning Point, that's on November 29th, and then WWE Survivor Series is on the 30th. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember that you can support my work at patreon.com/sleepytimeforcat productions. Also, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, and ring that notification bell so that way you can be alerted to further videos.